The Friday Sports Riot.
I'ma start a ride.
The Friday Sports Riot on SportstownChicago.com.
What's up? This is the Friday Sports Riot. I'm Ryan Hoppy.
And I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
And Ryan, who do we have on the phone line?
From 670 The Score, we have Wayne Randazzo, who came on to talk some baseball. What's up, Wayne?
How you guys doing?
Good.
We are doing good. So how has everything been so far with the Kane County Cougars?
Well, Kane County's playing great. They've got the best record in the Midwest League. They've won 7 games in a row, and the pitching's been the big story for them. They've really pitched well so far. Their 5 starters are all on the radar of being prospects. Actually, 6 starters now. Dwayne Underwood joined the staff last week, and it's night in and night out where they have one of the best pitchers in the Cubs farm system at a young age going out there and working. So it's been good to watch, and the Cougars have won 11 of their first 14, and giving signs of hope that there is pitching depth in the organization.
Now, moving on to the Cubs, what is your take on this boring and bad Cubs season so far?
Well, I think the Cubs are what you had to figure they were going to be. They were going to be a team that wasn't going to score many runs, that was going to have decent starting pitching, might be a little thin in the bullpen, that was not going to win many games. So I think the Cubs are exactly the type of team they thought they'd be this season. Veras struggled in the 9th inning, so they haven't had many leads since they took them out of the closer's role. So it's been a struggle for them, but it was going to be a struggle for them. They're still a year or 2 years away from really starting to put a good team on the field. So until this plan is hatched from Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer, which again is not going to be until next year at the earliest, it's going to be another losing season.
Yeah. And also earlier in the week, the Cubs got shut out in both games of a doubleheader against the Yankees. Take on that game and what the Cubs need to do to not get shut out every game.
Well, they need to do what every team does: get timely hits and put the ball in play and drive the ball. I mean, they just don't have the parts to necessarily do that on a regular basis. Olt has stumbled a little bit out of the gate. Junior Lake's been okay. Castro and Rizzo have been good. They just ran into 2 very good pitchers in New York, and they just don't have the offense or the talent throughout the offense to hang with great pitching like that.
And do you think that the Cubs should trade Jeff Samardzija before the trade deadline, or do you think he's going to be here all year?
I think they'll trade him before the trade deadline. I think they'll trade him soon. I think he'll be somebody who could go in May even.
Oh, wow.
They realize he's a guy who's going to get a major return like they did for Matt Garza, and they feel like they can really bring more depth into the organization, more major league ready people. And, I don't know that they want to give a 29-year-old pitcher who's about to turn 30 the type of deal that Samardzija wants. He wants the money Homer Bailey got from Cincinnati, and I don't think it's there for Samardzija. Not from the Cubs or anybody else. I don't think anybody's going to give Samardzija $100 million. And they are far apart on their contract negotiations right now. So I think ultimately it's going to be a deal that the Cubs get a big haul from someone. Maybe it's Toronto, who's got a deep system. Maybe it's Arizona, who still has some parts left. I know people keep texting the Score to ask about the White Sox, and they're not a fit. But I think that would be a great move for them.
Yeah.
They just don't have the parts to get Samardzija like some other teams do.
What team could Jeff join and then just make an impact right away?
I could join anyone to make an impact. I mean, the Tigers could use a starting pitcher at this stage. They did lose Doug Fister to a trade in the offseason. There's several teams that can make a deal. The Red Sox have stumbled with their starting pitching early, and Jake Peavy's not someone they trust deep in a playoff run. And I mentioned Toronto, who's got a very strong farm system. There's plenty of teams out there, and Samardzija said the other day, with Dan Patrick, he wants to win, and he's not going to win with the Cubs for a couple of more years, at least. So it's I think agreed upon on both sides that it's probably not a good fit anymore, and they're going to get something large in return for him.
Now, moving on to the White Sox, how have they been doing this year, in your opinion?
Well, they've hit, and I think that was, going back to last season, a big problem for them. They didn't have any offense, a lot like the Cubs. And you've seen the White Sox really spike the ball early on. Adam Eaton's been everything I thought he would be. I got to see him play every day in the minor leagues, and he was a terrific player and somebody who could be a spark at the leadoff position if given the opportunity. He's gotten that opportunity. Abreu has shown great potential. And you've gotten, certainly out of Alexei Ramirez, something that you didn't expect, something that won't last either, and something with Tyler Flowers, the same thing. He's been way over his head early on. What they need is to figure out the late innings, because they're not going to be hitting the ball like this all season.
Yeah.
But they can hit the ball good enough to be competitive in games. And if they have someone in the 8th and 9th inning who can get out, then they're going to win more games. Right now, Rick Hahn did put a bullpen together. It just hasn't been a very good one right now. Jones is hurt. Downs has been ineffective. So is Belisario. Lindstrom, I mean, you need these guys. You're counting on these guys, and they're not doing it right now. So hopefully they turn the corner here soon, or the White Sox will be in trouble.
I want to get your take on this. What went right as Adam Eaton robbed David Ortiz of that home run?
Well, he made a great play. I mean, that's a guy who gets a great first step, who has tremendous speed, who isn't afraid to, put his body in danger. And sometimes that's what you need to make a great catch like that. And Adam Eaton will make many more catches like that throughout the season.
And Alexei Ramirez has had that giant hitting streak where he's got a hit in every game this year. What's been going right with him?
Well, he's swinging early in the count. He's not a patient hitter. He's not a guy who's going to walk. He's hitting the fastball well. You'd be surprised how many hitters in the major leagues don't hit the fastball well. And that was a concern with Abreu, that he wouldn't be able to hit a major league fastball. Ramirez last year struggled with bat speed, and I think he was struggling off the field with of course, some things that happened to him and his family. But he's hitting the fastball well right now. He's driving the ball. He's seeing it well. And again, he's not going to hit like this all season. He's going to come back down. But it's nice to ride that wave early. And he and Starlin Castro are two guys that are underappreciated because they both play defense extremely well. Mm-hmm. For a major league shortstop.
Yeah, they do.
And there aren't many who can.
And another player on the White Sox that's played well so far is Tyler Flowers. How has he been able to become more of a consistent hitter this year at the back of that lineup?
Well, he's changed his approach entirely. He says he's not thinking much at the plate like he used to. He's going to right field more. His batting stance is different. Everything about him as a hitter is different. And fortunately for him, it's worked. But the pitchers will catch up, and he'll have to make those adjustments again. And then it's up on Tyler again to redo his thing and try to find another situation where he's effective at the plate.
What is your take on Chris Sale so far this year?
Well, he got an ace. He's going to pitch like an ace. He's going to go out there every fifth day. He's going to strike out 8 to 10 hitters. He's going to keep your team in the game. And he's going to look very good doing it. So what you've gotten from Chris the last few seasons is a guy who's one of the few true aces in the American League. And the White Sox rewarded him with a nice contract, one that actually favors them. And he's going to be around for a long time, and you hope his elbow and his arm hold up.
And now Adam Dunn is a guy who is up and down his whole time on the White Sox. And his first few games have been good so far. What has he been doing right?
Well, he's another guy that needs to hit the fastball early in the count, and he's been doing that. He takes more pitches than Alexei does. He drives the ball certainly with much more authority than anyone in the ball club, but it's more about being selective for him.
Yeah.
And to this point, he's been able to do that and swing at the right pitches. I mean, he's not 260 for him is almost like 390 for Ramirez. It's not something you expect to see over the course of a season. But you hope the power's there. He can hold his own and at least give you an Adam Dunn-type season, at least the one that you were accustomed to seeing before he came to the White Sox, and that's all you need from him.
And now, before we let you go, did you have any fun plans that you're going to be doing this weekend?
Just I got some Big Ten softball on Saturday. I've got our show with Bruce Saturday morning.
Right.
So, obviously watching the Blackhawks and the Bulls and their playoff runs as Bulls get started Sunday. So it'll be a good weekend. A lot going on.
Well, Wayne, have a good weekend, my man, and we hope to have you on again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Wayne. And that was Wayne Randazzo of 670 to Score and the voice of the Kane County Cougars as he came on the Illinois Center for Broadcasting hotline to talk about some Chicago baseball. We're going to come back and catch up on breaks. After this, at 5 o'clock, we have Mark Grody of 670 to score. And then at 5:30, we have our White Sox analyst, Gravy, from Hot 105.3 FM in Grand Rapids, the host of the Gravy and Rachel Morning Show.
Yes.
To talk some White Sox, Ryan.
Yep.
We will be right back on the Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com. Hang on.
The Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com.